Hi, guys. Did you ever have one of those days when the red light alerting you to the beginning of something does not go off? Yeah, but that's not the day I was talking about. Trust me, you do not want me to share with you all of the technical difficulties that have been going on around here. Um, what I was going to say or ask you is, have you ever had one of those days where you think to yourself, damn it, I really need to upgrade my bunker? Yeah. I think every day is a day like that for Donald. Why? Well, because he's a coward. He's a coward in every single way, but he is also a physical coward. We've seen evidence of this. Have you ever seen him have an altercation with an eagle? That didn't go well for him. And remember that time he was on stage and some guy rushed the stage and the entire Secret Service jumped up onto the stage as well. And Donald essentially like climbed underneath the lectern to hide. I mean, that's okay. I mean, I don't have a problem with that because who knew? But the point is, this is not somebody who's going to stand up and try to protect himself. He's always going to wait for other people to protect him. We also know that during the very peaceful protests in Lafayette Park in Washington, D.C., before he ordered the National Guard to start shooting rubber bullets and throwing tear gas canisters at people, Donald actually hid in the bunker. And it was probably at that point that he looked around and he thought, there's not enough gold in here. And ever since then, he has likely been looking for an opportunity to upgrade. You may not know this because all anybody seems to be talking about is the destruction of the East Wing, which is important. It is symbolic. I understand that. It is just another way in which Donald is, in this case, literally taking a wrecking ball to the United States of America. And in conjunction with that conversation, there's been a lot of talk about the obscene, opulent, almost certainly gaudy ballroom that is going to be erected in its place, dwarfing the rest of the White House. We were told that it was going to cost $200 million, then $250 million, and then $300 million. Donald was going to use some of the excess funds to make a triumphal arch for himself in his own honor. But I'm guessing that some of that money is going to be used for something else because you know what is underneath what used to be the East Wing of the White House? The bunker. The place where cowards go to hide in order to avoid facing the people they work for. Us. Now, why does this matter? Well, I'm just speculating, of course. But we do know for a fact that that bunker is being upgraded. And I'm guessing that it is being upgraded with taxpayer money. Because one of the many, many lies Donald has told recently is that the ballroom is being funded by him. No, it is not. Neither is the triumphal arch. He says it's a combination of his donations and donations of his friends. I'm pretty sure that's all going to be covered by taxpayer money, but the bunker certainly will be. Well, why wouldn't it be? Because it's his place of work. Why upgrade the bunker? We know that Donald is a dictatorial, wannabe authoritarian with fascistic tendencies. We know that he has surrounded himself with like-minded people who have as their mission the destruction of our constitutional order so they can put in its place some kind of authoritarian state. in which minority rule goes on in perpetuity. We know this, that we're seeing this happen every single day. The destruction of the East Wing of the White House is just sort of a very visual and visceral representation of those goals of theirs. What do we know about most authoritarian dictators throughout our history? They're very paranoid and they're very weak, at least characterologically weak. Donald, whether he admits it or not, and whether anybody around him admits it or not, is rattled by what happened last Saturday. He is rattled by the vast numbers of people who showed up in the streets to protest not him precisely, but everything he stands for and all of the horrors he is unleashing on this country. He knows, well, let me rephrase that. He understands on some level that he does not have the support he needs in this country to do what he wants to do unimpeded. And in his paranoid version of this, he thinks we're coming for him. I mean, I think that's true metaphorically. We are coming for him. We want to hound him and all of the Republicans out of town electorally. But because he's paranoid, because he is violent, and because he has a dark, dark imagination, I don't think he can quite wrap his head around the fact that we don't have malign intentions of the kind he constantly has. Caroline Levitt, the little Nazi who perpetuates Donald's propaganda for him, told us today that the ballroom is Donald Trump's main priority as president of the United States. I will have more to say about that later. But I think it is probably more accurate to say that the renovation of the bunker under the ballroom is Donald Trump's main priority as president of the United States. Not for the American people, but, and this is speculation, either because he is so deeply worried about the extent to which the American people, including and perhaps especially his base, is turning on him, or he is so desperate to stay in power, he has something planned, and he is not entirely sanguine about how well that's going to turn out for him. I have a feeling we're going to find out one way or the other. Let's dive in. Hello, everybody, and welcome to this evening's episode of Mary Trump Live. Yes, things have been just running so smoothly today. I know you appreciate the fact that I was just staring into space for about 5 minutes. That must have been fun for you. I swear the light just didn't turn red. It's Pavlovian. That's how I know to start talking. Anyway, the light's red now, so I too can turn myself on. It is Thursday, and it was just another run-of-the-mill day in Donald's second term. He and we are in the third week of his government shutdown, and the fourth day of demolishing a historic part of the White House. By the way, one thing I forgot to mention is the speed with which this thing is happening. We went from, oh no, we have no intention of touching any part of the White House. The ballroom is not even going to be near it, to it's gone. 4 days. Understandably, Americans remained shocked and disgusted at Donald's destruction of part of the People's House, all to make room for that hideous and expensive ballroom, while civil servants are being forced to wait on bread lines so they can eat while not getting paid. The Hill reports that according to a YouGov America poll, 53% of U.S. citizens surveyed disapprove of Donald's White House demolition project. 53%? What? How many people approve? I assume that it's not 47% approve. And usually in those surveys, it's 53% disapprove, 30% don't know what you're talking about, and the rest approve. But how that number is so low is kind of shocking to me. But anyway, America. Of course, the opinions of the American people mean nothing to Donald. In fact, according to NPR, Donald's ballroom construction plans are ahead of schedule. As I said, this is happening very quickly. And the East Wing will be totally demolished as early as this weekend. What's somebody who desperately needs a bunker to do? Right? I think there are a couple of things that are good about this. I mean, using the word loosely. It shows people who don't typically pay attention just where Donald's priorities lie. Because again, we are looking at two events that combined look absolutely horrible in and of themselves, but when you put them in the broader context, are just unimaginably cruel and out of touch. So we have the destruction of a part of the White House, a house he lives in rent-free on the American taxpayer dollar. It is a house he does not own. It is our house. And he's essentially destroyed a huge part of it just because. And he's also going ahead with the construction of that now $300 million ballroom and the bunker renovations. Again, all bad enough at the best of times. But those two events are occurring in the midst of an economic downturn that is only going to get worse entirely due to the failed economic policies of the guy destroying the White House and building the ballroom. And in the middle of what is looking like it will be the longest shutdown of the American government in history. Again, all because of his failed policies and his fascist party. Imagine, well, actually, I was going to say, imagine if Donald cared about healthcare. Donald doesn't care about anything except himself, so we don't have to waste our time trying to imagine anything. But imagine if he even pretended to care about the American people and what they're going through right now. This afternoon, the aforementioned Nazi press secretary Caroline Leavitt addressed members of the media, and reporters pressed her on this deeply unpopular desecration of a national symbol. Naturally, Leavitt was her usual combination of dismissive, hostile, and rude. I mean, the trifecta. Take a look.
Can the president tear down anything he wants without oversight? Could he demolish this building or, say, the Jefferson Memorial?
So it's not the president who came up with that legal opinion himself. That's a legal opinion that's been held by the NCPC for many years. It's written, so we can get you that background and that research if you wish to include it in your reporting, because it is very important. They have ruled consistently. Their general counsel has said when it comes to phase one of this project, the tearing down of the current East Wing structure, a submission is not required legally for that. Only for vertical construction will a submission be required, and that's a legal opinion from them, and we are following that legal opinion. And again, I would just add, can any president do such a thing to the White House grounds? There have been many presidents in the past who have made their mark on this beautiful White House complex. This briefing room, as you all know, was not once a briefing room. It was a swimming pool. There have been presidents who have completely torn down the executive mansion. If you look at what President Truman did, some of the photos of the construction project that took place in those years, I think sitting here today, we're all grateful for those efforts and the modifications that happened at that time. And again, in due time, the East Wing is going to be more beautiful and modern than ever before. And in addition, there will be a big, beautiful ballroom that can hold big parties and state visits for generations to come.
So it sounds like the answer is yes, he can tear down whatever he wants.
Yeah, because who's going to stop him? And what, do we seriously think that Caroline Leavitt is going to tell us the truth about anything? Oh, the legal opinion, blah, blah, blah. What, we think anybody ran this by a lawyer before it happened? Up until it happened, we were lied to and told, no part of the White House structure is going to be touched. This is the same person who turned the Rose Garden into a parking lot. So give me a break. Donald will keep doing whatever he wants to do because he's being allowed to, not because it's okay or correct or legal or constitutional. So I think it's always best to start there. Leavitt was also asked about that blatant lie that the construction wouldn't affect existing buildings. I'm very eager to watch her try to answer that one because these people seem to forget we understand how video works. Let's watch.
And you mentioned any construction project comes with changes. The president had initially said that this project wouldn't interfere with or touch the current structure. Now he says to do this properly, he realized that the East Wing had to be demolished. This is the people's house. Why not inform the public of that change and when it was decided that the East Wing would have to be demolished?
Look, again, with any construction project, changes come, and we have informed all of you. We've been keeping you apprised of this project. We've shown you the renderings. And if you look at the renderings, it's very clear the East Wing was going to be modernized. Instead, in fact, I said that in the briefing when we initially introduced this plan to all of you and to the public.
But modernized and tearing down are two different things.
Well, again, the plans changed when the president heard counsel from the architects and the construction companies who said that in order for this East Wing to be modern and beautiful for many, many years to come, for it to be a truly strong and stable structure, this phase one that we're now in was necessary. And the president wants to do right by the people's house. And so that's exactly what he's doing. It's going to be, again, like I said, much more stable, strong, secure, and more beautiful than ever once it's complete.
Yes, and also something completely different from what it is, because what it is has now been destroyed. You don't modernize something by raising it to the ground. And for those of you who have any tiny belief that Donald has any respect for the White House, remember during his first term, he actually said it was a piece of shit. So, this was bound to happen. Also, he's a construction guy. Like, he tells us this at every single opportunity. A $250 or $300 million project is planned long in advance. There is no way that suddenly an architect would say, wait a minute, we're about to break ground, but we can't until we completely destroy an entire building. It's absurd. But they know that enough people will believe them, that they'll just keep getting away. And, this is the thing. Caroline Leavitt is a very practiced liar. I mean, good for her. She's like 27. Very impressive. But her lies are wearing thin. She wasn't the slightest bit convincing, and she's having a harder and harder time making her lies sound reasonable or believable. So then when a White House reporter asked if Donald has more White House building projects in mind, Leavitt's answer was rather revealing. Watch this.
In addition to the ballroom and the Rose Garden patio, is the president looking at any other renovations or significant kind of projects here at the White House?
Not to my knowledge, no. But he's a builder at heart, clearly. And so his heart and his mind is always churning about how to improve things here on the White House grounds. But at this moment in time, of course, the ballroom is really the president's main priority.
I mentioned that earlier. The ballroom is his main priority. American farmers are going bankrupt. As I said, civil servants are having to wait on bread lines to feed their families. Essential workers are into their fourth week of not getting paid, and that includes military, air traffic controllers, etc. Government agencies are being dismantled to the point where there's no money for special education. Children in other countries that used to get aid from America are dying or have died from starvation and perfectly preventable diseases. And his priority is a ballroom, which is merely, in his mind, a testament to his greatness. But we know it is simply a way for him, one more way for him to try so desperately to cover over the glaring fact that he is a black hole of need who has never been able to get the one thing he most desperately wants: love. And that's because he's unlovable. Now, there are cracks showing in the foundation of Donald's hostile Donald's hostile takeover of American cities. The Guardian reports that Donald abruptly canceled plans to send federal agents to San Francisco. I mean, which, I think the most obvious first question would be, was that a taco? Did Donald Trump always chicken out again? Well, let's see. His scheduled troop surge faced strong resistance from California officials. There were also numerous protests at a local Coast Guard base. Reportedly, San Francisco Mayor Daniel Lurie and multiple tech executives also talked Donald out of the deployment. And as the New York Times pointed out, all this came after Nancy Pelosi warned that California police could arrest federal agents who violated state law. So yeah, that sounds like a tacoing a little bit, but it's actually worse than that, because this speaks to the kind of cronyism currently standing in place of an actual government. Donald says that he changed his mind as a favor to his friends. That is not how any of this is supposed to work. But that's how the United States government functions now. If you can get Donald to do you a favor, they'll do you a favor, but you're going to have to wait for the other shoe to drop. What exactly are you going to have to do for him? Hopefully, some of these people and corporations are going to find out the hard way. Another weird day, tech difficulties aside. News coming in from everywhere. The murders of people in boats has gone from the Caribbean to the Pacific Ocean now. Again, the shutdown shows absolutely no signs of stopping. The situation between Ukraine and Russia is worsening in large part because of Donald's incompetence and his fealty to Vladimir Putin. There is just so much going on. And again, so much of it is hard to take, which is why we are going to continue to showcase your protest signs from last weekend's No Kings rallies. We cannot lose sight of what we accomplished on Saturday. We cannot slow down that momentum because we know we have to keep doing it, and it has to keep getting bigger and louder and stronger and more organized. So many of you showed up on Saturday, and you have kept us busy going through your incredible photos. So we're just going to keep doing this as long as we can to remind you of what it looks like when we are out there standing up for our country and our fellow citizens. So here's a fresh batch of your submissions. The first shot is from Henry in Honolulu, Hawaii. No dictator. Yeah, that's the sign that got a woman in an inflatable penis costume arrested, but okay. I love that. No dictator. Next, we have a nice shot from Elizabeth in Portland, Oregon. No kings. He didn't win. He wasn't shot. He's on the list. No kings. Show me the Epstein files. Elizabeth also added a message with the photo that reads, and for the record, Portland is not burning, nor are we rioting in the streets. The only negative thing on October 18th was while a handful of protesters stood in front of the ICE building, the agents actually tear gassed them, roughed a few up, trained assault weapons on them. Unquote. Well, of course they did, because they are much like Donald, very weak men who feel bad about themselves. So thank you for sharing that, Elizabeth. Now we have some signs from Lewis in Tucson, Arizona. The power of the people, stronger than the people in power. We the people defend democracy. I love the USA. No kings. Here's a photo from Lee in Spartanburg, South Carolina. Oh, I was just in South Carolina. I don't know if I was anywhere near you. I was in, what's it called? Myrtle Beach. I am Antifa. That stands for anti-fascist, not anti-American. And next we have a nice prop doubling as a sign from Rebecca in Gainesville, Georgia. Oh, cool. Melts ice in sunlight. No, sorry. Ice melts in the sunlight. Yes, it does indeed. And here's a shot from Christine at the rally in my hometown in New York City that says, IKEA has better cabinets. That is inarguable. And another New York City moment, also from Christine. One sign says, give Donald the boot. And the other one says, save democracy. If not us, who? If not now, when? Yeah, exactly. This is a time-limited endeavor, and we need to remember that. And here's a lovely photo from Karen in Daytona, Florida. No kings ever, and resist. And finally, we misplaced this picture yesterday, but as promised, we found it for today's show. So here's a shot from Jim in Wilsonville, Oregon. Orange is the new black. I love that one. And it's got a little like icon of Donald's round face and hair, and then a little round Hitler at the bottom. And then another sign, two paths diverged in the wood, and America took the psychopath. Yes, thanks 78 million Americans who thought that was a good idea. So thank you again so much for all of those awesome pictures. And yes, like I said, we're going to keep doing them. So keep sending them if you haven't yet. And this brings us to today's emotional support moment. It's Thursday. As I said, I got it right. Yesterday, we had a viewer request for an ESM with animals. So we have obliged. Now, despite everything that's going on, we have to remember that there is still a staggering amount of beauty and fun in this world. And to help us stay in touch with those ideas, here's a clip of some penguins enjoying a swim in the Seneca Park Zoo in Rochester, New York. Here we go. And breathe. think I saw a little penguin flirting going on there too. It's adorable. All right. Time for your questions and comments, etc. Jennifer W7113, thank you so very much. It's really kind of you. Comment herself to revealing the truth about the East Wing. Built in 1942, asbestos was most likely used. Was there a permit to remove it? Appears to be crushed and in the air. Spraying water isn't enough. I mean, that's very possible. And again, it doesn't look like they've taken many precautions because the speed with which this has been carried out, like, I think that they would be worried about asbestos and lead, but I don't know. I do not know. We don't test for such things anymore. Oh, yeah. It's like, what was it? Protein powder. Making a smoothie is like playing Russian roulette now since the FDA doesn't function anymore. At Jennifer W7113, again, thank you so very much. Okay, yeah, I thought so. My apologies. The previous question should have started with "here is to revealing." Yes, yes, I probably should have picked up on that. So thank you for clarifying. Erin, my goodness. Thank you as always. That's incredible. Gifted 20 Mary Trump Media memberships. Phenomenal. Midas Cheryl in the house. Thank you so much, Midas Cheryl. It's almost the weekend fee. Indeed, it is. Actually, if we were college kids, it would be officially the weekend. But we are not. Thank goodness. And it is the Midas Cheryl twofer. Thank you so much for gifting 1 Mary Trump Media membership. Cindy B-15I5C, thank you very much for gifting 1 Mary Trump Media membership. That's awesome. At Electric Creations 5724 is a member for 4 months. That's most excellent of you. Calgon, take me away. Tell me about it. Yeah, I think it's going to take a little bit more than Calgon at this point. Sorry to say. Oops. Sorry. Dorothy Reed, 8591. Thank you so much, Dorothy. Comment: more eagles attacking Donald Fay. Yeah, yes, except I like eagles and I don't want them anywhere near him. You know, but I understand the sentiment. ACC bonkers. Question: how can this madness be stopped? Would the U.S. military have to organize a coup to save our democracy? Well, let's really hope it doesn't come to that. I like to believe that there are enough people throughout all different levels of the civil service who understand exactly what's going on and know what they need to do if we ever get to the point where things look like they are going over a cliff. But again, let's hope we don't get to that point. Let's hope that elections still matter and that continuing to protest and getting to the point, because I'm telling you, we are going to have to do this. We are at some point going to have to shut it all down. So much to think about, so much to keep us up in the middle of the night. Jamie McGee 518, Archie Bunker. Yeah, I prefer Archie Bunker to the, deluxe bunker he's wasting our money on. That's for sure. Darth Zana 5015, thank you very much for that. Quote: I have friends everywhere, unquote, and/or hashtag no kings. I need to watch. I started watching it. I think I need to finish watching that. My friend Bob Seska quotes it all the time. Vera, thank you so very much for that. Oh, well, and that's perfect because it's for the swear jar. Cusses, cusses, cusses. Yeah. Yes. How can we not be swearing constantly? Well, not constantly, because then we'd all be poor, and let's not do that. Things are hard enough. Richard, thank you so very much for that. Comment, not to make yet another comparison between this administration and Nazi Germany, but Hitler also had a ballroom over his bunker. People are blind. ATP at this point. Maybe I'm assuming it doesn't mean Association of Tennis Professionals. I mean, in this context. Yeah, people are willfully blind and willfully ignorant, and I don't think we have to make excuses for them anymore. So, to see what's going on right now and be okay with it, you need to be doing some serious mental gymnastics, or you're lying to yourself, or you're lying to other people about what you really want for this country. In the middle of nowhere, gifted 5 Mary Trump Media memberships. Thank you so much, as always. That's awesome. Sylvia is a new member. Thank you for that and welcome. Edie is a member for 3 months. Thank you, Edie. Comment, thanks for keeping us updated, Mary. It is my pleasure. Truly. Nanner 3200. Wow. Thank you so much, Nanner, for gifted 5 Mary Trump Media memberships. That's phenomenal. Sheila 3444. Thank you so much for being a super sticker, and thank you for that. Elizabeth, thank you very much, Elizabeth. Comment, Donald Trump, again, check it out. Oh, yeah, it could be again. I like that. And thank you. The D is silent. It is not the taco. It is taco, but there is a D there. That's important to me. Darsana 50515, thank you very much again. Comment, they're trying to transfer SBED to Robert Kennedy. This is another way to institutionalize people with special needs. Hashtag resist. Please speak out and say no. Oh, special ed. Sorry. Not sped. Special ed. Yeah, I mean, that is just a disaster waiting to happen, because clearly Robert Kennedy hates children of all kinds. So I wouldn't want him anywhere near any of my children, but certainly not a child with special needs. He's a monster. Truly. Freya, thank you very, very much for that. Comment, in favor of melting ice. Yeah. When Democrats get back into power, if one of the very first things they do is, if they don't make as one of their main priorities dismantling ICE, I don't know what to say. Stacy 3107 gifted 1 Mary Trump Media membership. Thank you very much for that. Much appreciated. Jana, member for 5 months. Most excellent. Comment, glad you weren't doing anything weird at the beginning. Well, you know, like typically if there's a camera in front of your face, whether it's on or not, you shouldn't be doing anything weird. Glad you're back this week, as I'm on a 4th week of vacation. Thanks for all the content. 4th week of vacation, that doesn't sound good, but at least it's vacation. So hopefully you're getting some downtime and relaxing. And it is very good to be back. Mendenos, member for 4 months. Thank you very, very much. Comment, Melania got sued. Yes, she did. Melania threatened Michael Wolff. I hesitate to call him a journalist, but he's written a couple of books about Donald. And I think she threatened to sue him for like $1 billion in order to get him to shut up. So he's suing her for a lot of money. I don't know how much, but good. I mean, he's terrible, but she's worse. So yeah, I hope she loses. Stacy 3107, thank you very much for that. And this is money for the swear jar. Fucking right. Is that a thing that people say? I don't know. But I swore. I think that was the point. Susan Thompson, 5142, otherwise known as Susan. Sorry, I don't know why I read it. There's something weird going on with the handles tonight. I think that's what's throwing me for a loop. Because normally it's like people's names, but now it's the numbers. It's very odd. So forgive me if I screwed up anything. Anyway, Susan's comment. Mary, appreciated your article on Substack today, Racism Without Shame. So powerful, expose the systematic underbelly of racism that's always been present. Read it, folks. Thank you. And there's the link. You can find that article as well as many others over at my Substack, which is called The Good in Us. Also, we keep forgetting to do this, but we're trying to remember to put all of those articles up on, or not all of them, but some of them up on community notes here. But if you go to Substack, there's a really cool community over there that you can hang out with as well. So, and it become a subscriber like YouTube. It doesn't cost anything. Although you can upgrade to paid subscribership if you so choose. Okay, that does it for us. Thank you all so much for being here tonight. To everybody watching on YouTube, streaming on Twitter, and over at the aforementioned Substack, The Good in Us, everybody listening to the podcast, to all of our new members, everybody gifting memberships, everybody who is a super sticker and giving us donations. Thank you. Truly, we so appreciate it. Also to our exceptional mods for doing such great, important work. And not just, we have mods here who are mods for friends of ours as well. And we know it's not easy. And in fact, sometimes it's incredibly difficult. So thank you. Thank you for keeping people here safe. Just very quickly, the easiest way to support us is, as I mentioned, subscribe to the Mary Trump Media YouTube channel. It does not cost anything. Once you subscribe, just click on that bell icon and click all. That way you will be alerted every time new videos drop, which they do every single day. Every single day, not just the lives. We have pre-recorded videos. Another really easy way to support us is watch those videos, like them, share them, and comment on them. And finally, to my most amazing team for dealing with what has to be the most insane epic of American history ever, and staying sane and keeping your senses of humor and I don't know, keeping me sane. Well, to the extent that that's possible. Truly appreciate everything you guys do. And that does it for us. So thank you so much for being here. Oh, quick reminder, as I said last Sunday, Ask Mary Anything Within Reason is switching to Monday nights for the time being because I have lots of traveling to do over the weekends the next few weeks. So Monday is Ask Mary Anything Within Reason. Tuesdays through Fridays is Mary Trump Live. All of those shows are at 6 p.m. Eastern time. All right, that's it. I will see you all soon. In the meantime, please, everybody, stay safe and be kind.